Welcome back to the Veil Echo, where the truth hides behind whispers and shadows. Tonight, we unravel one of the most haunting disappearances to ever shake a quiet suburban town, the case of Melissa Casias. It began like any other evening. The sun dipped below the rooftops, painting the streets in gold and crimson. Streetlights flickered to life as the small neighborhood settled into its nightly calm. Melissa Casias, a 27-year-old woman known for her gentle smile and kind spirit, was last seen walking home from a nearby cafe. She waved to a neighbor, her phone in hand, unaware that this would be the last time anyone saw her alive. As the clock neared 10:47 p.m., the world outside fell silent. Melissa's cozy home glowed softly under the streetlight, a phone buzzing on the couch, a faint breeze through an open window. Her belongings were untouched. Her car parked neatly in the driveway. Everything looked normal except Melissa was gone. A dark sedan had been spotted earlier that night, parked across the street, engine off, windows tinted. Neighbors recalled seeing a shadow inside, someone watching. But by the time police followed up, the car and its driver had vanished. When her family couldn't reach her the next morning, panic set in. They called, texted, drove to her house. The door was locked from the inside. On the table sat her purse, her keys, and a half-finished cup of tea. The only thing missing was her phone, later found discarded in a nearby park. Detectives arrived, combing through every inch of her home. A ticking wall clock echoed through the empty rooms, each second heavy with uncertainty. They found no signs of struggle, no forced entry, nothing out of place. It was as if Melissa had simply stepped out and never returned. Outside, flashing police lights painted the quiet neighborhood in red and blue. Curious neighbors whispered behind curtains. "She was such a sweet girl," one said. "Always kept to herself," said another. Everyone had theories, none had answers. The first few hours were crucial. Search teams expanded through nearby streets, wooded trails, and gas stations. A grainy CCTV clip surfaced showing a woman resembling Melissa near a gas station, walking quickly, glancing over her shoulder. But the footage was blurry and her face partially hidden beneath her hood. As night fell again, the town grew restless. Flyers with her face appeared on lampposts, fluttering in the wind. Her family stood beneath candlelight, praying for her return. Reporters began circling, turning a quiet mystery into national news. Behind the scenes, detectives pieced together fragments: a mysterious car, a missing phone, a woman who vanished without a trace. But what truly happened that night? Was Melissa running from something or someone? Or did the shadows outside her window hide a truth far darker than anyone imagined? Days turned into weeks, and the mystery of Melissa Casias deepened. The search that began as a hopeful rescue mission had become a grim investigation. Police cordoned off her home once again, this time with sharper eyes and heavier hearts. Inside, detectives moved slowly, flashlights sweeping over the walls and furniture. A faint scent of lavender lingered in the air, Melissa's favorite candle, now cold and burned halfway down. On the bedroom floor, beneath the edge of a rug, an officer discovered something glinting: a silver bracelet, one her sister swore Melissa never took off. The evidence team marked it carefully, photographing every angle. Outside, the neighbors watched silently, their faces pale in the morning light. The peaceful suburb now carried an air of unease. Every porch light stayed on at night. Every locked door seemed to whisper her name. Back at the precinct, Detective Ramirez pinned Melissa's smiling photo to a large evidence board. Around it, maps, timelines, and witness statements formed a web of confusion. Red strings connected her last known locations: the cafe, the park, the gas station. Somewhere in between, she had vanished. A break came when a local gas station clerk turned in surveillance footage from the night Melissa disappeared. The grainy tape showed her walking briskly toward the edge of the parking lot, and behind her, a dark figure following at a distance. The person's face was hidden beneath a hood, but the gait was unmistakably deliberate. Investigators scoured nearby areas. An abandoned field just a few miles from where the footage ended drew attention. Tire marks cut deep into the damp soil. Scattered near the grass were a few personal belongings: a single earring and what appeared to be a phone case. The morning fog hung thick as forensic teams combed the area, every discovery sending ripples of dread through the investigation. Meanwhile, the town rallied together. Missing person posters with Melissa's picture clung to lampposts and bus stops, fluttering in the October wind. At night, her family and friends gathered for a candlelight vigil. Flames flickered in silence as her mother held her photo close, tears tracing down her cheeks. Detective Ramirez, exhausted and sleepless, studied the evidence board under the harsh light of his desk lamp. Something about the timeline didn't fit. Melissa's phone, found days later near a park bench, contained one unsent message, a draft that read only, "He's here." Who was he? A friend, a stalker, a stranger she recognized too late? The local news splashed the story across headlines: "Young woman missing, town in fear as mystery deepens." But behind the sensational coverage, the detectives felt something darker, the sense that this wasn't random. Someone had planned this. Someone knew her. As the weeks dragged on, leads grew colder, interviews blurred together, witnesses remembered less. Yet one thing remained constant: the image of Melissa's smile on every poster, fading slowly in the rain. The clues were there, scattered, fragile, almost pleading to be seen, but none led to her, and with each passing day, the line between truth and shadow grew thinner. Whatever happened to Melissa Casias that night was still hidden just beyond reach, buried among the clues left behind. Months had passed since Melissa Casias vanished, yet her absence still haunted the town like a ghost that refused to fade. The once bustling neighborhood had grown eerily quiet. Porch lights burned through the night, and whispers followed every shadow that crossed the streets. For Melissa's family, every ring of the phone, every knock at the door still brought a flicker of hope, a hope that was slowly turning into heartache. Detective Ramirez sat alone in his dimly lit office, the hum of a desk lamp cutting through the silence. On the wall before him hung the same evidence board, Melissa's face at the center, surrounded by clues that led nowhere. Newspaper headlines screamed, "No answers in Casia's case." He stared at them, tracing the red string from her photo to a blurred CCTV still of a man in a hoodie. The same shadow had appeared in multiple reports, always near the edges of her world: the cafe, the gas station, the park. Whoever he was, he had disappeared as completely as Melissa. One night a tip came in: a hiker had found something strange deep in the woods, near an old rural road rarely used anymore. Ramirez and his team arrived before dawn. The air was cold and heavy, the fog rolling low over the ground. The forest was silent except for the crunch of boots on dirt. They followed a narrow path to a clearing where a few objects lay half buried beneath leaves: a shoe, fragments of fabric, and a locket. Inside the locket was a photo of Melissa smiling. The discovery reignited the investigation. Forensic experts scoured the site, collecting samples, analyzing prints, looking for anything that could finally tell them what had happened. But again, the results came back inconclusive. No trace of blood, no fingerprints, no DNA that matched anyone known. It was as if the forest itself was guarding a secret. Still, the town refused to forget. Each year, on the anniversary of her disappearance, people gathered at the park where she was last seen. Candles flickered against the cold night air, their soft glow reflecting off a framed photograph of Melissa. Her mother always stood at the front, clutching the frame as tears welled in her eyes. Ramirez often stood at a distance, watching the candles fade one by one. He had solved dozens of cases in his career, but not this one. Something about it gnawed at him like a question with half an answer. Sometimes he dreamed of that night, the dark car, the open window, the missing phone, and each time he awoke with the same thought: she didn't just vanish. In the years that followed, the case of Melissa Casias became a cautionary legend. True crime enthusiasts dissected every clue, every theory. Some believed she had been taken by someone she knew. Others whispered that she ran to escape a hidden past, yet no one could prove anything. As time went on, the posters faded, the headlines stopped, and new stories took their place. But somewhere in that quiet town, behind curtained windows and darkened streets, the memory of Melissa still lingered, a name spoken only in hushed tones, a mystery that never let go. Because in the end, it wasn't just a disappearance, it was a haunting. And even now,